welcome to my podcast, Soul Expansion and Inspiration. This is Series 2, Episode 8, and my name is Ali O'Shea. Today, I would like to give a very warm welcome to my special guest, Katina Love. Katina is a life purpose business coach and spiritual guide. She's also a teacher, a speaker, and an author. Very warm welcome to the show, Katina. It's so lovely to have you here.
Thank you, Ali. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm awesome. It's warm. I'm here in Michigan. It's the holiday weekend. I'm excited.
Yes, it is. Memorial Day over there this weekend, isn't it?
Yes. I have to get out and go to the beach later on.
Oh, sounds lovely. Are you close to the beach?
20 minutes to the nearest.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that. Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, Michigan, we're surrounded by water, like everywhere.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Yes.
It's dull and overcast in Ireland here today, so it's warm, but it's dull and overcast, as it is quite a lot of the time.
Okay.
So you come from a religious background, having grown up in a traditional Baptist church, and then in your late 20s switching over to Pentecostal. And while you appreciate what you learned through religion, there came a time when you felt like it was time to move on. And you said to the universe, there has got to be more than this. What else is out there?
Yeah.
And then in 2002, you moved to California, San Diego, with the intention to find yourself.
Absolutely.
So we'd like to tell the listeners about this journey, about finding yourself, and why you felt at this time that religion wasn't the whole picture for you.
I just felt like, there was more to what we were being taught. So I grew up in the church, it's kind of like me and like a lot of other families that, family, friends, neighbors, like we were kind of like forced, kind of like you got to go to church, right? And so it's funny because I actually enjoy church though, because there are a lot of like youth activities and things like that we could do as kids. And so at 15, I actually made a decision to stop going because I had lost my brother. Well, he was murdered. But anyway,
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay. He's with us in spirit. So, the whole thing about death, when you awaken, you get, you see it differently.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I got mad at God at age 15. And from the age of 15 to 26, I stopped going to church because I thought it was God's fault, right? So
yeah.
My mom didn't make me go anymore. So for like that 10, 11 years, I didn't go. And then I decided I wanted to be closer to God. I wanted to do the right thing and what have you. And I've always considered myself a spiritual person. And I went back to church, and then a lot of things had changed. I had grown spiritually. And I stayed about a year. I went to my old church, and I was like, no, this is old stuff, Yeah. What else is there? Give me something different. So I went on this search. I started visiting other churches, and then I found this Pentecostal church, which took me up to another level. And don't get me wrong, churches, religion has its place, and it's a starting point for a lot of us. Yeah. So I learned a lot, and I appreciate the teachings I did get from my pastors. And, it taught me community and how to, love each other and, family and all of that, love your neighbors yourself and all that kind of stuff. But when I went to my Pentecostal church, it took me up another level. I learned about faith, and I started manifesting and, trusting God for stuff. And so later I was reading the thing you sent me, and you were saying, well, what type of stuff did you manifest? So to begin with, when I was at my church, I stayed at that Pentecostal church for about 2 years or so.
Right.
I manifested a new car while I was there because I needed a new car, getting back and forth to work. I was like 30-minute drive. Manifested a brand new car. A lot of people in the church were manifesting cars and houses and spouses, and it was just amazing. It was a good energy, and we were just manifesting stuff because we believed what the pastor was saying about having faith and trusting God, and God wants us to have the best and things like that. So to answer your question though, I stayed there about 2 years, And then I was like, okay, this was fun. This was great, but there's some more. And so I moved away. I moved down by the Detroit area because I was born and raised in Flint. So at this point, I moved down to Southfield, a suburb right outside of Detroit. And I started visiting more churches. And I'm like, nope, this isn't it. This isn't it. This isn't, nothing was it. Then I moved to California,
Yeah.
um, like maybe 2 years after that. And then I was still searching. And I was like, there's got to be more. I just know there's more out there. So I just kind of took a break from going to church. Then I would go every here and there. But long story short, I had a coworker who who actually became my mentor because he introduced me to Think and Grow Rich. He
Yes.
introduced me to the teachings of Napoleon Hill, and it just changed my whole world. It was like,
I
you
think
mean to
that,
tell me I can have whatever I want? Are you serious? I've created my own reality, and it's my mind is bringing things to me. Like I can use the power of my mind to, bring things that I desire. I mean, don't get me wrong, you do have to do the work though.
yeah,
But that was the beginning point. Napoleon Hill's teaching.
yeah,
I learned about the Dale Carnegie teachings, which is where Napoleon Hill studied through,
yeah,
and it helped me to like really go within myself and to tap into the inner person. You
yeah.
know what I
I think
mean?
it's funny how many people's lives that book changed. I have that book and I can't actually read it. I don't like it at all.
You know what's funny, Allie? I still have the book. Well, actually, this is what happened. I bought the first book and I read it so much it got warped and it got old and I had to
Yeah,
recycle it. I got the second book and it's like I can't read it now because now I'm more of a auditory person. I have to like listen to the audiobooks. But
yeah.
there's different things for different people, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like I remember telling you before that the first time I picked up Asking It Is Given, I went, what the heck is this nonsense? And I left it
Yeah.
down for about 6 months before I went back to it. I tried last summer reading Think and Grow Rich because I know what a big book and what a big impact it's had on many people's lives. But honestly, I just couldn't get into it, and it's sitting on
Hmm.
my shelf in my bedroom. But it will get read eventually. I know it will. I know the time will be right. Everything in divine timing.
Right.
Things always happen at the right time. But
Yeah.
when you moved, you discovered all things natural, didn't you? And discovered
Absolutely.
all the things that were available to you in the health and wellness in nature and adopting a more healthy lifestyle, etc. And it led you to write your book, which is called Awaken to Natural Health.
Can
So
I show it?
congratulations.
Thank you. This is the book.
It's a lovely cover on it. I love those colors.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So do you
Yes,
want to tell us about your book?
absolutely. So I was on this spiritual quest to find myself like, who am I really? Like, even at the age of 32, Allie, I didn't know who I was on a deeper level. You know what I mean? And a lot of people will go through life and, we identify with what people taught us or, what our parents taught us and, what society reflect to us as who we are and things like that. And it's like, we're going around in life and we are identifying ourselves and identifying ourselves as this person that someone else has told us that we are. And so I wanted to really go within myself and discover like, who am I really? Like, who is Katina? So I
Yeah,
put that out in the universe. So in that whole on that whole journey, I'm like, well, how can I take care of myself better? Because at the age of 17, I had two surgeries. I had my spleen and my gallbladder removed. And
right.
so I was putting a lot of questions out there, like what's really going on. I started questioning things, and I'm like, life isn't really how they say it is, and why did I have to go through this experience? And so all of that was part of my awakening. So when I got to California, I saw how the difference in night and day how people live, like from where I grew up at, right? People are really into their health and wellness. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's California. Everybody wants to look good, right? It's the capital. It's Hollywood, right? So I just really noticed how people were really taking care of themselves. And, like a day like today, people will be out running, riding their bikes, just really active outside nature. And I went 3 weeks before I saw one person who was overweight. I don't know how it is over in Ireland, but in America, there's a lot of overweight people. I mean, I'm not judging or anything. I'm just saying
Yeah,
there's
no,
a lot of unhealthy people. The culture here is just like,
it's not like that here. I mean, we do have overweight people, obviously, overweight,
yeah,
obese, actually, what you would class as fat, as well, but not to the degree that America has. But then again, America supersizes everything. So what did they
supersizes
expect?
everything. And I talk about this in my book. Towards the end, I talk about how when you go out to eat here in America, they give you like double portions. So
Mm,
what I do right away when I go out to eat, I ask for a to-go box right away. And what I do is I portion my food out and I put like half of it to go because I'm like, all this food just doesn't make any sense.
yeah,
Realize how big our stomach is. It's really small. It's like,
it's the size of your fist.
you see what I mean? Our stomach is so small. And it's
Yeah.
like we're putting all this food down. It's like it's not your body's like, what the heck are you doing?
And a lot of people don't realize is that it actually takes 20 minutes before your stomach actually realizes that it's full, or you realize that, that connection, actually, I'm full. It actually takes 20 minutes because quite often people might finish their first portion and before that 20 minutes is up even. So 10 minutes might have passed, but they still need another 10 minutes for the stomach to realize, actually, I'm full. I've had enough now.
Absolutely. Like when I'm at home and I'm eating, I don't even eat out of plates anymore. I use bowls. And so
Right.
I put the food in my bowl, what I intend to eat. And then if I think I want more, I put a little bit in another bowl with it, like a Tupperware. And I'll have that there just in case I want a little more. And I just kind of go back for seconds, so to speak. But I never pile a lot of food on my plate. And it's just like, it's not healthy.
Yeah, yeah. Everything in moderation,
Everything is in moderation. So I went on this spiritual quest to answer your question. I started out living in San Diego, going to the gym and just, really eating healthy and things like that. And I just noticed, I'm like, God, people here are so healthy. And then I came across this book, Natural Cures That I Want You to Know About, by Kevin Trudeau. And that book changed my life. It's like, I'm like, oh my God, it's just opened up like the box of Pandora for me because it's like I can't believe all these things are in nature to help us to be well naturally and people
Yeah,
don't know about it. And I was amazed. And so right away, I kind of did a 360. I started like throwing things out. I didn't use deodorant anymore. I didn't use, aerosols. I mean, commercial deodorant.
yeah,
I
yeah,
started wearing natural deodorant, for example, because people don't realize the chemicals that are in just deodorant alone, and they're putting that under their arms. And I believe that that's linked to cancer. Actually, it is because the research has been done on it. Uh, Years ago, men didn't get breast cancer. Why do men get breast cancer? That sounds like so odd. It's weird. And it's because it's linked to the chemicals.
yeah,
Aluminum is one of the ingredients in the deodorant. So I just started, slowly letting things go, just being more conscious. The cookware that things I cook with, the even the pan that you cook in, the pots and the your bakeware and all those has an impact on your life. And so I just started doing things that are more natural and healthy.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, as I started to awaken. And so
yeah,
things started coming into my life, Allie, the books, um, Napoleon Hill, Kevin Trudeau's Natural Cures book. Then my mentor at my job down out in LA, by the time I moved to Los Angeles, I just put him to the side one day and I said, "You're 20 years my senior and you're faster than me. What's your secret?"
faster
He's
runner
always,
or
yeah, he was 20 years older than me, my coworker. And I'm like, "You're always happy and energetic." Because when I first got there, I worked at the Grove at Nordstrom. And we were like going up and down the stairs. And he was like, "Just do it without a problem." And I'm like, and I'm huffing and puffing. I'm like going up and down the stairs. I'm like, Whatever you want, I want it.
Whatever you're on, I'll have some of that.
Let me have some of that. So he started teaching me about aloe vera juice, organic foods, and then the Napoleon Hill piece, Think and Grow Rich. And I started listening to his, he has CDs out too that you can listen to. So it started there for me, Allie. And I, I went another 3 or 4 years, without going to church. I just listened to Napoleon Hill.
All the time, Napoleon Hill. And then
All
in
the time.
2006, you found The Secret, didn't you?
I did. And
Yeah.
so I had moved back to Michigan by this time. And so this took me up to another level. I'm like, oh my God, people are just like manifesting stuff, right?
Yeah, back to the manifesting. The thing that I realized, though, is that they've manifested every single thing in their life. We manifest all day, every day. You know, everything that's in your life up until this point, you have manifested. So that includes all the bad stuff as well as the good stuff, and all the material possessions,
it's both.
Your back and everything.
We manifest the good and the bad, Ellie, and that's absolutely true. And it's like, so what the secret did for me is to help me to be more conscious of what
I was going to say that it gave you sore eyes because you said you watched it and watched it and watched it.
I watched it over and over, 20 some times or more than that.
That's mad.
And I became a personal development, like just hooked on it.
Yeah.
So it was entertainment too, but at the same time was teaching me stuff. But during that time, Allie, I tried to introduce it to my family, and they're like, "Oh, this stuff isn't real. This is a work." I'm like, "Okay, they're just not ready." I was like, I very quickly learned to not share it like with certain people. I didn't say anything about it anymore. If someone brought it up to me, then we would talk about it. But I knew that it was a personal journey for me.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of times, you know, people aren't ready to hear. And, you know, I have, even now to this day, my own family don't really understand what I do because they're not ready to hear. And in my opinion, they'll never be ready to hear. And that's their journey. And I'm on mine, and I'm staying on mine. I'm staying in my lane.
Staying in my lane. We all have our tribe, right? That's why we're talking about this here.
Yeah.
On your channel, because people are open to this information.
Exactly. The listeners are open to this information. They understand it, they get it, and they're ready to hear it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So The Secret,
The Secret, yeah. Did you ever read the book?
I didn't read the book. I just listened to the audio because they have audios too. They have the audio, like 4 CDs. And then I watched the DVD over and over. I still have it.
And tell me, did you ever listen to, because she had obviously the other ones, The Gift, and I have them all. I can't remember the names of all of them.
No, I haven't. No. I have to check that out.
Yeah.
I know she has a lot of great products out, and I have to check them out, take the time. I've just been so much into Abraham lately. It's just like...
Yeah. In 2014, you then discovered Abraham Hicks, and you say that you feel once you found them, you felt like you had tapped into the power of the universe and who you really are as a spiritual being having a human experience. Did listening to Abraham help you to discover more of your gifts and help you to be more open with them?
Totally. Yeah. Without a doubt. It was like overnight, they came out of nowhere. It's like I had heard of Esther before. I heard of Esther during the time of The Secret, 2006.
Yeah.
But it was the old version. It was like when she first had started out in her voice.
200 copies, I believe, with her in it. Or was it 2,000 copies? I can't remember until they were taken out, the original.
Right. So what happened was I heard her voice. I think it was even before that I had heard an old audio or something. And my friend popped it in. I was like, no, take that out. That voice is scary.
Because she actually sounded...
Like she's scaring me right now.
She sounded different in the early days. I often say she sounds like a drunk Russian on podcast from the early days.
Yeah. And so, right before Abraham, I went to, I was into like the cosmos and the Ascended Masters and learned about astrology and numerology and things like that. And I was going to a spiritual organization called Ethereal Society. So there I learned a lot of things too, of like bravery and how we're different. We're here to bring the light on the planet, and it's going to take people with guts to do it. I mean, because we're different, right? And sometimes we can come across as being weird or being different, or why are you so happy, or we don't act like that around here, or whatever that is. But that place taught me that I'm going to have to be brave, because it does take bravery to follow your purpose and to be a light worker, and to do it non-traditionally.
Mm.
So then I discovered Abraham like overnight. It was like it just showed up, and I was ready. The thing was, I was just ready for it.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
on YouTube, learning a lot of different things about spirituality
Right.
and ascended masters and things like that, and how the non-physical beings are here to assist us. So I learned about I learned about a theory. Willie Vargas.
Yes.
You know him? Yeah. He's the one with the big Facebook group,
Mm-hmm.
Abraham Hicks Facebook group. So he had, a bunch of videos on YouTube, and that's how I learned about Abraham.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I won't get into a conversation about him.
Abraham? Oh no, I know how I understand.
Yeah.
But Abraham, how long have you, because that's how you and I connected. You went to one of their events.
I had 3 vision boards that I created, and within 1 week, I was booked to go and see Abraham and over to LA and
I
Vegas.
love that. You manifested that trip.
Yeah, absolutely, on purpose. But of course, again, it's all about taking, inspired action, which I did. And I've often talked about that on my lives. And I've done a few lives on my vision boards recently that people can watch. And one on my YouTube channel as well recently about the whole story about Abraham and my manifestation for that trip. So if anybody wants to watch that, it is on my YouTube channel. It's probably not that long since I've been listening to Abraham Hicks, probably about maybe 5 or 6 years that I've been listening to Abraham. And as I said to you in the beginning, really was like, what the heck are these people? And this is just insane stuff. This doesn't make any sense. It's like
Right.
about intergalactic beings. I suppose at the time, I have so much more of an understanding now of channeling and how different it is between the different people that channel. I mean, for instance, the other day I was just interviewed by Expand with Julius on their show Extraordinary Experiences, and Casey, who channels Julius, is a completely different kettle of fish than Esther when she channels Abraham. Julius is much more of a powerful force, so much so that your energy is almost taken aback by the channeling. And again, Christina Hill, who channels Athela, who is a light being, her vocal cords are manipulated, so she sounds completely different to what she does as a human being. So
that is amazing.
There's so many different forms of channeling, and I channel, but I don't feel that I channel a particular being. And I've also been told that I will be doing more and more and more channeling. So I think to understand channeling is it's a little bit more complex than what the average person is, thinks that it is. It can be quite complex in all the different varieties that you get, but it sure makes you appreciate knowing Esther and Abraham, because they would be more, they set the precedence for it, I suppose, as well. But they also, Esther is so calm when she channels Abraham now. Now, going back, as I said earlier, she did sound like, to me, a drunk on vodka. And that was because her vocal cords were being manipulated in the beginning. And maybe as time has gone on, this is what I believe, that she didn't want that to happen anymore. And so they worked out a way for it to sound more like Esther when she... But amazing stuff, absolutely amazing stuff. For us all, I think Abraham Hicks and Esther and Jerry Hicks have, again, set the precedent for so many of us to come together, to work together, to co-create together, to shine the light out into the world. And I think a lot of us have that background, which is amazing.
Right. I was just thinking, what if you're the next Abraham, the next Esther?
Well, I was actually told by somebody a couple of years back that I was going to channel Abraham. Now,
That's
that
beautiful.
hasn't
I can
happened as
see
far as
that
I know.
because you're so passionate about the law of attraction and their teachings.
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
easily see that happening.
yeah. And
You've been a blessing to me. I've learned a lot of stuff.
somebody the other day said that I had Esther's. Well, a couple of people in the last few months have said that I have her energy, which is very bizarre to me, but
Hmm.
it's a
Awesome.
compliment.
That's
But
awesome.
you say that we all have a purpose to fulfill on planet Earth, and that we live in the time of an awakening for, to who we really are. We are to get to know ourselves on a deeper spiritual level and embrace self-love. There is a shift taking place on the planet right now, and we are being guided to raise our consciousness. It's time for
Yeah.
us to embrace who we truly are, our gifts and talents, and fulfill our life's mission. You like to help people embrace who they are and be more open about their gifts. Isn't that correct?
Hmm.
So I've seen you
It
post it
is.
quite a lot. Are you ready to come out of the spiritual closet? Are you ready to tell your gifts and share your gifts with the world? So tell us a little bit about that, Katina, if you would.
So I'm out of the closet, but it's kind of like I just need to be more visible.
Yeah.
And so what I do actually is I help other light workers come out of the closet, coaches, healers, and creative entrepreneurs, because I had no intention on even being a life purpose coach, or a business coach, which is to help the light workers, market themselves and what have you. But I had no intention of this, Allie. I started out as a healthy lifestyle coach with my book.
Right.
And, my business coach at the time, he started recommending me to go on other people's podcasts and radio shows to talk about, the healthy lifestyle coaching.
Mm.
So I went on this woman's podcast and it was fun. Like you and I are having fun, right?
Yeah.
It's fun to talk about what you love. It's natural. So,
Yeah.
she's like, why don't you start your own podcast? I was like, sure, I'll start one and then you can host it for me. And so we did it. She's like, oh, I'll do the first one. She said, you'll get the hang of it. So I did it. I had no intention of having the podcast. So, I just started interviewing people that I knew to come on and talk about what they had to offer. One of my good friends was a master herbalist, and then I had energy healers and people come on. So what I found out, Ellie, really early on was that people wanted to share their gifts, but they were afraid. They're afraid of, what are my coworkers going to think about me if they see this video? What are my family going to think about me? I just work with a certain amount of people. They're afraid of being visible and being seen and, doing what we're doing, talking on your podcast, being on YouTube.
Mhm.
And so I found myself coaching people before they come on to speak. And I help them to have the confidence. I don't know if you experience that with what you do. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people who are still hiding. They're like, what? I don't want to be judged, because of the programming over the years. You shouldn't be different, Like, what are you
Well,
talking about? You're energy healing. What the
actually,
hell is that?
actually, I went through it myself because I had my Law of Attraction Create Your Own Reality group, and I was going live from that group because I had organized our school reunion, our 20-year school reunion. And so I had about 500 people from my school on my
Hmm.
page. And I didn't want them seeing, well, what the heck
Exactly.
is this woman talking about? That's Ali from school. What's she, all this
Like,
woo
who?
woo?
What the hell?
So I would only go live from my private group. Well, it wasn't private. It was, it's a closed group. It's not private. Anyone can join it. But I was going live from this group specifically. And then in the end, I just thought, and also my family and stuff were on my page, and, Paul's family and stuff. After a while, I just went, you know what, this is,
Forget it.
I'm going to start going live from my page.
It's too much
So I did.
energy.
And actually, when I get so many people when I go live from my page, as opposed to even when I go in the group now, because I haven't really gone live in the group for so long.
Hmm.
Um, I'm actually going to start doing more on my business page. But yeah, I totally get it. I get, it wasn't that I was embarrassed or
Hmm.
um, I was ashamed of what I did or anything like that for me. It was more, I don't want to have to explain myself to
To
people
people.
that I don't really have a connection with anyway.
Right. So
So
you go. They're
yeah,
not important anyway. I mean,
they're not important anyway. And so I
not when it
made
comes to
the decision.
my journey. You know.
I did have some friends on there that I thought might think it was a bit weird. So they were important to me.
Hmm.
But, I think it wasn't, it was more that I just didn't want to have to deal with the questions because I thought, this is my journey. And right now, I don't want to have to be explaining myself to anybody because it's not their business anyway.
It's not.
So that's why I did it. But I totally get what you're talking about other people kind of um, needing to come out and show their gifts. I found on my journey, a lot of mediums quash down their gifts and,
Yeah.
they're ridiculed for what they do, or, that's the devil's work, or you're a
Mm.
witch, or you're not a true medium if stuff doesn't resonate with them that medium says, things like that. So, that there is lots of reasons why people
There are
don't
lots of
go
reasons.
public. Yeah.
There are. Um, but there's ways to go public, and there's ways to shine your gifts more. Like you're saying, there's so many different groups out there,
Mm.
um, huge groups. The people that are looking for this information, they're looking for the encouragement
Yeah.
to show, who they really are and what they came here to do. So what I do is I help people get really clear on what it is they came here to do on the planet, because we do live in a time of awakening.
Mhm.
There's the average person, as much as 70 or 80% of the workforce, people don't like their jobs. They're going to work to make a living, to pay their bills, to take care of their families. And, they're not happy. And so there's a reason why they're not happy. It's because they're not working towards their mission. So I never tell people to quit their jobs. I just say work towards, you know,
Exactly.
get it, you know, take the steps that are necessary to get you to where you want to do, where you want
Yeah.
to be, to get you to doing what you love, to help you to get really clear on what your purpose is, because they may be, working their job and then doing something on the side, but then they're like, should I really be doing this? Um, is there more I can add to what I'm already doing? And
Yeah.
so what I do is I help them to get really, really clear on that, what their life's purpose is. Help them to discover what it is if they don't know, or if they do have an idea, or they're doing something related to their purpose. I help them to enhance what they're doing, like their spiritual practice or their business.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always really important that, they use the job that they have as a stepping stone to get to where
Stepping
they want
stone
to be. Yeah,
to get to where they want to be. So
exactly.
you want to be moving in the direction of doing what you love, because that's where the energy is.
Yeah. It's follow
we
your
don't
bliss.
we don't have the full advantage of working with our non-physical beings, our ascended masters and our spirit guides. We don't have that full energy like Abraham talks about if we're doing something that we don't love, or we having these mixed emotions like I hate my job. You got to find a reason to love your job. You got to find something. I love the building I live in. I work in. I love my office, or I love my cubicle is really pretty. I love the colors. My coworkers are nice.
Mhm.
They treat us to lunch every Friday. It's got to be something that you love about your job, so that you can receive that inspiration to help you to get out of that situation. But you have to be happy first.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know
Exactly.
what I mean? So
Absolutely.
that's why I created my course, Awaken to Self-Love, because getting back to the light workers, the folks that are awakening, and already working in their gifts and working towards it. We Then you have people that are really good. You're talking about mediums, and we talk about energy healers, and we talk about life coaches. Everybody's a life coach on some level, because we're always helping people to do something or overcome something, or your friends come to you for advice. You're helping them on their journey. That's valuable, because we change lives just
Mhm.
from helping. So why not get paid for it? So if I have this ability to be able to see in a person, I extract from them what's already in them. I help them to realize what they're good at. So
Yeah.
just say, for instance, you're talking about, mediumship. You do readings, but it's like, oh, I shouldn't charge though. Well, why not? Or you're not charging enough money.
Yeah.
You're
If you
helping
don't
people.
charge, the universe sees that as you giving away your energy for free and says it. it's counterproductive. We have to charge for our energy that we're
We
giving.
have, because everything's an energy exchange.
Exactly.
You are good enough. You're awesome at what you do. I help people to, build their confidence up, like you should charge, or help them, or maybe they're not charging
Our
enough
time.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you have life coaches that are not charging enough money. They're charging
Not
$50 a
only
session.
time, but expertise. Plus, we've also invested in ourselves. I've invested a huge amount of money in myself.
Yeah, because we've taken the courses, we spent the money
Yeah.
for our own personal development.
Hmm.
So why wouldn't you take that knowledge and turn it into a practice, a spiritual business?
Exactly. I think more
Or
important
take
for
your
people
prices
are.
up another level, or maybe you need help with packaging, what it is, your services and, your gifts and what you have to offer. So I help people get really clear on that. I help them to really, and it's called Awakening Self-Love, because the bottom line is we don't love ourselves enough. We don't feel the worthiness to be able to charge for our services. We don't think we're good enough. So I help them to change their mindset about that, help them to set boundaries with people, get over what people think about you. It's not their journey, it's not their path. And to just really go within themselves and
Mm,
to, do it as what they came here to do, set boundaries with people even. A
yeah.
lot of people have issues with that. They're a yes person. They're a people pleaser. There's a lot of, you find that a lot of light workers are people pleasers.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be mad at me. I don't want this. I don't want that. Get
Yeah.
over it. Get
Exactly.
over it.
So you have a YouTube channel as well called Awakening with Katina Love, which I've had the pleasure of being interviewed by you a few times already. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
you're welcome.
Would you like to tell the listeners about, that channel and what kind of programs they can expect to hear on your channel?
Yes, so it is a spiritual enlightenment channel. We talk about Abraham Hicks, we talk about manifesting, we talk about, I have a lot of other coaches and healers and creative entrepreneurs come on and talk about their services and products so that they can be seen and they can be heard and people can, learn about them. I believe that we should shine the light
Mm,
on the light workers, because we're the ones that are bringing people into their mission and their what it is they're supposed to be doing on the planet.
yeah,
So I do a lot of stuff about manifesting because that's one of my favorite things to talk about, and spiritual enlightenment, manifesting your life's purpose, how to go about discovering that, and owning your power. it's
brilliant.
really it's really about raising the consciousness on the planet. And then there's another channel I just launched too. It's called Awaken to Your Wellness. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
doing a separate channel, just talks about all wellness stuff, natural health.
Wow, interesting. Okay, guys, so you heard the names of the channels. So make sure you sign up and subscribe. It's free to subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell button for the notification to be notified of any of the new releases that Katina puts out. So the first one is called Awakening with Katina Love. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's the main one. Yes,
And the second one is called
Awaken to Your Wellness. If you want to
Awaken.
learn more about natural health and how to care for yourself naturally.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I wish you all the best with the new channel as well.
Thank you.
That should be very interesting, and it should provoke a lot of interest from our listeners, I'm sure. Do you want to tell, I know you've touched on briefly some of the services you provide. You help people with their natural gifts. You
Yeah,
obviously have a show where you're interested in interviewing other spiritual people. I'm not sure if you let them contact you off cuff or not.
absolutely. If
Yeah.
someone is interested in being a guest on Awakening with Katina Love, just reach out to me on Facebook. My personal page is Katina Love. I also have my YouTube channels are Awakening with Katina Love.
Yeah.
That's a spiritual enlightenment, raise your consciousness channel. We have different healers and creative entrepreneurs to come on and share, what they're doing to raise the consciousness on the planet and help you to become your best version. The other channel is Awaken to Your Wellness, where we share information about caring for yourself naturally and taking charge of your own health
Brilliant.
naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, where is the best place for people to contact you then, Katina, for your services that you provide? I know you've already spoken about how you help people to come out of the closet for their, as it were, in inverted commas, for their spirituality and their gifts. And you help people to market themselves and things like that. What else do you provide, and where can people reach you?
So I'm a speaker as well, and I'm a teacher. So if someone wants to book me to come and speak to their group, I'm more than happy to do that. And then I have the books, Awaken to Natural Health, which can be found on Amazon.com.
Love.
The course Awaken to Self-Love. You can take the course with me. So the course is a 13-week course, and it's a course and coaching program. So you would meet with me once per week on that. And then if you didn't want to take the course, you can just buy the book on Amazon.com.
Brilliant.
And my
Brilliant.
website, if you want to work with me, you can visit www.katinalove.com. Katina love.com.
Brilliant. Lovely. Well, I wish you all the best of success with the new channel and the book and your course that you provide, Katina.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you.
Ali.
Thank you so much for being here with me today, Katina Love. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. We will
Thank
say
you.
namaste for now.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And goodbye to the listeners. We will see you next time.
Thank you, Ali.
Thanks, Katina.
Bye.
Bye-bye.